oriented basically where it's at. And I figured that, so, straight dimensionally, I mean, up here, if you draw a straight line going up there, we're probably about 15 feet past the corner. So, I mean, we're going to end up like right here. Right here. Like, we might even have to shift forward. We need to see exactly what the easement on this is.
Right.
And basically, the corner of the house is going to have to go at the furthest possible point that we can get it to go. But I figure it's probably going to be roughly about like right here. When we might need to rotate
said he'd
it a
be
little
willing to help us stake the corners. That would help.
Yeah, because he knows that we don't have room to work with.
Yeah.
We've got to get it exactly right.
That would be nice to have his professional, especially on this corner.
Yeah.
Just this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I was super appreciative that he was going to come help us out.
Great.
So, the grade's not too bad, right? I mean, that's kind of the good thing about the placement, at least, too, is that it's fairly level through here.
Yeah.
Fairly level.
Yeah, it is. We'll see. We'll have to lay out where it's going to go and then see where we might need to bring some dirt in.
Yeah, this corner we've got definitely. Yeah.
And then ultimately, you think in the driveway or just kind of around here? Because you wanted.
Well, I'm kind of game for whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe if we can break it when we do the, the quote, just kind of break it up to just doing this with the driveway, and then maybe a separate portion for like a wraparound, separate portion for that, and then maybe the grading over there to get out that side, whatever we need to do over there, because that's a little steep.
But your ultimate goal is to be able to drive out that side.
It would be,
if possible.
yeah. I mean, it would be nice, but it's not a deal breaker if we're going out that way. The biggest thing is we want to be able to make sure whatever driveway we've got, that, because Andrew, I drive a little, I usually drive the truck, but I drive a little Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay.
So, like in the winter, being
Yeah.
able to like get up something that's gravel, it's not too steep, would be kind of the preference. Or even if I was to drive around, to be able to, if it was, had a nice gravel driveway to get up and out, that would be the preference.
Okay.
One interesting thing that we probably maybe want to coordinate with Aaron, if Aaron ends up doing the plumbing, but Aaron's really knowledgeable about this kind of stuff, though, is the whole house ejector pump system. But he was saying that he's pretty sure that the sewer line in the road here is pretty deep, which is good for us.
Okay.
So he wants to just try to do as much gravity fed as he possibly can to the main sewer line. But so that's just kind of something that we'll need to think about when we're thinking about grading through here.
Yeah.
Figuring out exactly where the ejector. I figure the ejector pump would probably end up being somewhere around over here.
Yeah. Even if that's super deep, I couldn't imagine being able to get gravity.
Yeah, I don't think so, because Adam's right there.
I don't know.
And he's got an injector pump in his house in the basement.
Or maybe he's saying we could do sections of it, like maybe
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the house to a point.
Yeah.
So this is what
makes
he
sense.
drew just on the back of a receipt. But so the ejector pump system right here, he's thinking about doing like a 6-foot culvert, like a piece of just steel culvert that's laid on its end, and creating a pit there, and then putting the 2 pumps in there, filling it up with gravel.
Yeah.
And then having the electrical system in like a little box kind of off here to the side. And then there will be a diverter in between here. And actually, just so you know really quickly too, so that basically this is what will connect the 2 of them. So if you ever have one breakdown, you just got to come in here and flip that switch.
Oh, I see.
And then
So you have one of the pumps break down?
Yeah. So we're doing 2 just because
Smart.
you don't want to be literally
You don't want to be in the middle of Christmas and be shit out of luck.
Yeah. So then county sewer here, try to do gravity fed as much as absolutely possible. Have your 2-inch line that comes off of the ejector pump, and then have a clean out wherever it ends up connecting to where we have to gravity.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Because the longer you have to go with the pump, the bigger pump you have to get, right?
Not
guessing.
not necessarily with the ones that we're gonna get, because we're getting 1 horsepower, which is actually like what they use in the hotels, is what Aaron was saying.
Okay.
And but it's just, his point is just that you want to try to gravity feed as much as you possibly can, because it's gonna take less work off of the pump. And
Totally.
it'll last longer.
Totally. Lifespan.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anytime you got moving parts, you're gonna expect it's gonna break down eventually.
Sometime.
Yeah. So that's what we're thinking. So, and with that being said, I mean, the ejector, how I've got this figured on the site plan is, hold on a second, let me get back into rotating. So the sewer's coming out basically here, so it's going to be a little bit in front of the truck, and then come over here and then shoot out up the driveway.
Okay.
Which actually,
so this like point is kind of where maybe the
the eject
will be.
Yeah.
Like over here somewhere.
Yeah. Which, thinking about
maybe
this,
going up the left of the driveway.
Yeah. And so maybe that's what I was just thinking too, is that maybe what we need to plan on doing is having the sewer line run to the left of the driveway, so that we could have the pump housing over here. Yeah, and then it doesn't interfere with where the driveway is currently. And then actually that, and what is kind of in our benefit here, just if this works out as far as how I've got this laid out, is that you're fairly level right there too. So that will help us as far as trying to meet gravity. You said that they've got an ejector pump in their basement?
Yeah. For their house.
Do they've just got a on point one, I'm guessing, though, right? For like, that's what I've never worked with a whole house ejector pump, just to be honest with you. And but usually what I've done in Salt Lake when we've finished old basements or whatever, we just had one that was like at the point of the toilet, or like the plumbing downstairs in the basement.
I would imagine it's probably just for the basement, because I think on that upper level they probably don't need one.
Yeah.
I would imagine, because see, I remember when they put this in for this trailer, that we're like, they were concerned about whether I was actually going to be able to get the slope to come up, so it was going to actually be,
even for the trailer, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, I still had 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So I was able to connect it in there pretty well.
So it's probably not as deep as Aaron's thinking.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, he said he'd just come up here and open up the manhole and measure it and figure it out.
Yeah.
But either way, we have to get the ejector pump, so it's just a matter of just trying to figure out where our lateral is at and how to tie into it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And that's the furthest utility line. Water, I've got the 10-foot minimum setback from it, so we're even further that way towards the road. So just from a utility standpoint.
This is the garage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So drive in, pull in like that, and then so we'll just continue, speaking about, long-term plan, just continue the kind of road around that way so that you can make a loop.
Okay. And power's coming in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that on the phone.
That's the power right there. And then, and so we were thinking about just finding where the existing trench is for the solar array, and just reusing that.
Yep. So do we get free eggs on this job, or?
Sure, during the summer when they're laying. I'll give you as many eggs as they're dropping right now.
This reminds
Kind of
me
far and in
growing
between
up,
these
we had-
days.
We had tons of chickens growing up.
Did you?
Yeah.
I guess I never thought about that they don't lay during the winter.
They do a little bit,
Yeah,
but not a lot.
Yeah.
Egg production's down like about 90%.
Yeah, interesting.
I had to get upset at Andrew because we have a lady that runs a Airbnb down the road. She always likes to come up here and get free eggs. Well, she pays for the eggs, but like I'm spending, in order for me to keep up with my keto diet and my workout diet, like he gives all the eggs away, and then I go spend
Money.
$18 on eggs. It doesn't make sense because I'm like, I'm feeding these guys throughout the winter. So we had to have a serious discussion about, make sure I have my eggs first, then you can give her what she needs. She can pay $10 a dozen. She only pays $5, I think.
These concrete posts.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we're gonna have to rip those out, huh?
Yeah, so probably my plan is as I decommission this, once I get everything off, I'm gonna like unbolt all these racks, and I'm probably just gonna cut the pipes off at the ground.
Okay. And then are you gonna try to reuse the pipes, or?
No.
Because I'd almost say we're probably gonna have to rip these
Okay.
concretes out with my Mini X.
Okay.
If you don't want to keep the pipes, you might as well just leave them up, and I'll just rip them out.
Okay. We'll just do that. I'll leave them up. I'll just take all this. I'll just take
cutting them off, especially since most of the house is gonna go here.
Yeah.
Would be an extra step you don't need to do.
Okay. Makes sense to me. I'll just take the solar down and the modules on the back and the racks that the upper part of the rack that they're attached to.
Yeah.
And they're less work for me. I'm on game.
Can you show me roughly where